What's up, everyone? It's David with the Plant Bar. I'm just getting set up. Hang tight here. Let me make sure sound's working and the camera's at a good angle. Let me check it. How's everybody doing? It's April Fool's Day. So it looks like Crystal's got me April Fooled here, trying to be funny. I guess it is funny. Nice one. Nice one, nice one. All right, here we go. Let me just log in here. Okay, make sure it's centered. Okay, and everything's working. All right, cool. All right, let me get the rest of this cleaned up, and then we'll get going. Today, going to be talking about annual flowers, planting them in decorative pots for Easter, or what we're going to try to do is get these things to last for a while. So I have some tips and some other ways that you can select the plants and get them to last a little longer through the season, or have some things that will stay and then you just replace some of the other color. Okay. So let me finish cleaning up. So I still got the stuff from last week. That one still hasn't rooted. Let me get this stuff out of the way real quick. Update on the aquarium. So the aquarium went from being the wood floating, having to take everything out, to it leaking. I had the back lanai, the back patio, full of water. Crystal was like, "Hey, is that supposed to be wet?" And I was like, "No, that's not supposed to be wet." So we had to take everything out and reseal it, and then fill it back up. And then the third time, well, I guess the second time I filled it up, we're using ADA soil for the plants. It's a planted tank that we're creating if you've been following along. And I thought, hey, there's a little bit left in, because I pulled everything out and I had a little bit that had some silty soil in it. And so I said, hey, I want to use every last drop of all this stuff. And I poured that in the tank. And then when I started filling it up with water, it became this like chocolate milk looking aquarium. So third time's a charm. I took all the water out. I cleaned all the silt off of everything after I drained the tank, and then had a diffuser in the water. So when it came out, basically a t-shirt, and then the water came out real slowly. I have a clear tank. We're back to normal. We're starting it up. So maybe we'll have a good, funny, longer video in the future. But right now I'll show you once I get it kind of going where we're at. But now it's normal. So we've got almost clear water. The soil takes a while. It's going to be about 4 to 6 weeks to be ready. Hello. Hi, Brent. Hi, Kelly. I'm David. This is the Plant Bar. Crystal's being funny. This was I got my hair cut, and Cam the Barber, the post went viral. It's got a lot of views and a lot of comments, and one of them was that. So it's pretty funny. So thank you for following along, hanging out with me. We're going to be doing some annuals. I just needed to get these out of the way. These actually should have been moved a while ago. These are Hoyas we did last time. So let me move these, and then we'll get going. I've become addicted. I like certain drinks, and they're not paying me to do this or anything, but I've become addicted to these Spindrift waters. I don't know if anybody has had any of these. So I'm gonna take a drink so that I like these. Usually I talk for like an hour long and my throat gets raspy, but these have so there's no like sugar or any additives. It's just sparkling water with like fruit juice. So if you like something that's got more of a bite to it, actually taste what it says it's going to be. So this one's lime, and not like a hint of lime. You know, it's like the lime rind. These are good. It's like a good punch. Punch isn't the right word. I meant like it's strong. So I like these. So thank you, Spindrift, for keeping my taste buds going. Hi, Renee. Thanks for following along. All right, let me clean up here, and then I'll start talking about annuals. So Easter's coming up. A lot of places getting a little warmer. I don't know where it's at, you know, as far as temperature wise, where you're at. Feel free to put in the chat what the highs have gotten up to. So still chances of frost, I'm sure, in some places. So doing some annuals might come with like, hey, I gotta cover these up, or oh goodness, I've got to go put these inside because we got a freeze coming or something. But Easter is coming, and so wanted to go over how to pick and plant a good annual pots to help add some color to either your patio, your front porch, front lanai, you know, outside flowers. All right. So I'm going to try to keep up with the comments here. I'll turn this a little sideways so I don't keep looking away. So the first thing I want to go over is picking out, obviously you got to put them in a pot. So a lot of I would recommend trying to go to a local place if you can, to support your local nurseries. Some of them that carry, you know, flowers, pots of that, you know, things like that. Otherwise, maybe you can get the pots at like a bigger department store, and then go support your local flower stores, your local nurseries for the plants. So what we're going to be doing today, we're going to do some hanging baskets. So I have just a hanging basket we're going to put together, fill it with soil, and we have some petunias that are going to go in this. I do know, like, you can go to any big box store and they'll have like ready-made, you know, planting hanging baskets there for you. I don't know what they would be, $12, $15, maybe $20 if it's a bigger one. The problem with those is that they don't last a long time because they've already been potted. The roots kind of fill up a lot of those pots, so you're like having to water them every day or 2 times a day because there's no soil in there. So I would recommend, if you can, doing it this way, the way I'm going to show you, and that's you know, giving the plants a good amount of soil, so where the roots it'll extend the time that you have the flowers. The downfall, I guess, is that you got to wait for them to fill in a little bit, but it's actually a little cheaper, and you're gonna save money in the long run because you won't have to replace them. You know, you just keep buying the baskets, you know, because they only last a couple months and they start petering out. Okay, Arlene or Renee, mid 70s to mid 80s. Yeah, you're ready for flowers. The other pots that I have are gonna be more like decorative pots. So I got a handful of these. Here's a bigger one. And I'm going to start with this one because I want these to be full. I have a good amount of plants, but I want to fill these up, make it nice and full, and then I'll probably have petunias left over to do those hanging baskets. So I'm going to start with the biggest one. As you can see, definitely make sure it has a drainage hole. Do not try to put annuals in a pot that does not have some drainage in the bottom. And so hopefully, let's see how this looks on here. Oh, shucks. Ooh, I guess I'll be able to do this, and maybe, yeah, okay. So I'm going to start planting this larger pot. It's a little taller, so it's taking up most of my body, I know. But I'm going to go through the basics on how to do like there's three. This is the downfall to live. It's like I got to be on it. Bear with me here. All right. So there's three parts to a planter. So whenever you're looking at, you know, flowered ranged flowering plants in planters, the ones that look good to you follow this pattern. And what it is you want to have a thrill in the middle, so something taller that adds thrill, you know, adds interest to the coming up. And then you're going to have fill, so other fuller plants to fill the space in between, preferably flowering usually. Those will be your flowering plants. And then spill, that spills over the sides. So thrill, fill, spill. So what I've got picked out is some dracaenas. And so the dracaena is going to go in the top here, and this is going to be my thrill. And then after the dracaena, for this bigger pot, we're going to do these larger zinnias. So we're going to fill this thing up. We're going to do two zinnias on each side of that to fill it up. And then we also have some pansies, that maybe a couple pansies in there to go in between these. And then the last is going to be the fill. And what I'm going to do for this one is we're using ivy. So going to keep the plants that go over the sides, since I chose such a variegated, you know, plant for the middle, wanted to try to make sure we get some green and keep it elegant, keep it nice, so there's no variegation. It's just going to be green ivy that's going to spill over the sides. So when that's what I've got. I guess let me give you some tips real quick before we fill that one up. Let me give you some tips on how to select good quality plants that are going to last a good amount of time. So when you're picking annual flowers, when you're at the nursery and you're trying to pick them out, you want to pick a healthy plant, so nice green leaves, right? Try not to get too many brown spots, too many yellowing leaves on the bottom. That means they've been stressing out. That's important. That's like rule number one. Secondly, check for bugs. Make sure you're not like bringing in a bunch of bugs that you're going to have to treat. So you check the underneath, the stems, make sure there's no bugs. At the nursery, you can do that, kind of pick through, right? So say there's 10 of these zinnias, and I'm going to go through and I'm like, okay, let me get the best ones. The last thing you want to do is get plants that are budding. So this one I know has one open flower, but that's because I wanted it to look nice to begin with. Even better would have been just all buds. So now it's ready to emerge. Once you get it planted and you get it going, all these are going to open up within a week, and it's going to be real pretty. And what this does is, like, this plant's at the beginning of flowering. So you're not going to have, if you buy it with a bunch of flowers, they're going to be spent, and when in 1 week you're not going to have any more flowers. But when you buy it with the buds, now you've allowed yourself time, right? These are going to open up, you know. So we got one open, one about to open, a little behind that. And then if you can see down here, we've got more buds that will be emerging. So we'll have this good cycle of flowers. So this is a real good choice when you're picking annuals. Same thing with let's say petunias, right? So don't get the petunia pack that has a whole ton of flowers everywhere, unless you're going to need it for that day and you just know it's going to be spent. You want one that's starting to bud. Right, this one's got one flower here. I guess maybe this one already flowered, but the rest, they're budding. They're going to open up. This is a good pack. So just a few flowers, so you can at least see the colors, and then mostly buds. It's a good choice there. And then we have some other zinnias, and you can see on these other ones here, same thing. So I chose. Sorry, these are dahlias. I don't know where the zinnias are. Down there. Okay. Same thing. Buds. You want to I tried to pick them with, so healthy leaves, budding. These are going to last the longest, these plants, versus the others. Okay, so we got selection and we got our idea. So we're going to have our thrill plant our fill plant and then spill plant for the bigger one. So we'll start planting the bigger one, the bigger pot that I have, and then we'll just keep planting, and I'll see how much I can get done by the end of the hour here. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them, and I will do my best to remember to go in here in the comments. Yeah, Arizona gets hot quick. And hi, Crystal. Hopefully Crystal can help maybe with the comments, because I'll get like into all this and then forget what I'm doing here. Oh, with the comments. So I'm going to do my best, I promise. And let's see. All right. So bigger pot is here. So when we're planting, we always want to start in the bottom. We're going to fill this thing up with some soil, and then you're going to have your biggest pots would be your first things that you're going to plant. Right. So the Dracaena is going in the middle. That's going to be the first thing I plant, and then I'm going to pull these off. I'm going to squeeze all these into this pot. This one's going to go near my front door, so I want it to have a big instant impact. So I'm going to stuff some big stuff in there, and we have a get together next week. So getting ready for Easter, springtime, perfect time to freshen up some pots around the house and create some real pretty displays for your house. So working from the bottom, as far as potting soil for these, I would recommend, an organic type potting soil. But it can be, you can get away with some other stuff here. I usually, you can even use something that has some fertilizer in it, even synthetic fertilizer, because we're going to try to push all these flowers. I'm going to show you some ways to do it to where we won't build up a lot of salt by using an organic fertilizer and then another extended release, as opposed to like a Miracle-Gro, which is going to build up a lot of salt and cause problems, because we want to make these last as long as possible. But if you've got some Miracle-Gro soil laying around, it's not the end of the world. These plants will be okay with it. So what we'll do is I'm going to fill this up first. I've got some organic plant blower mix soil. Just going to drag this closer. So we're going to need quite a bit. What I want to do is, so I've got this, every pot, planter has this ridge. For this one, I'm actually going to only fill the soil up. It's actually going to go a little below this ridge. You don't want to fill it all the way up to the top, so that you want to have space so that when you water it, the water will fill up in this reservoir that you allow it and then come through in the bottom. Annuals need way more water than other plants, so they're going to require you to water more often, and especially it's better if you can just give yourself some space. So I'm going to do 2 finger lengths widths, 2 finger widths from the rim of the pot down. And so I want the top of the root ball, which is this part here, to be right around here. So when I put that in, I need to fill up quite a bit of soil, maybe half. Right off the start, it needs to be filled with soil. So I will get to doing that. So with this, this is a bigger pot, so it's going to take more soil. I was trying to find a bigger way to do this. Oh, here it is. And I guess the other thing you could do is, see, this is like an instant add pot that I just bought. They were like less expensive, and they still look good. So I bought this. But there is this hole around here, and you could fill that up with like gravel or something else if you didn't want to like put soil in there. But for me, I'm just going to fill it up with soil. So I'm going to go halfway up. So now I'm about halfway. I can test, right? So I'll get my plant Put it in there. It's kind of a little low still, so we're going to need a little more soil than I was first thinking. All right, and try that out. So I'll put this in there. Okay, so that's about the level that I want it to be. So when you build it from the bottom up, it makes it a lot easier. So now all I got to do is depot this and put it in the center, and then the hardest part's going to be squishing these bigger plants in there. So to depot the plant, you're just going to squeeze the sides a little bit, roll it over to the, you can do this all over the pot like that. I'm going to slide that in the middle. Going to make sure it's centered in there. I'm actually going to kind of squeeze this because I'm going to try to fit a decent amount in there. So as you can see, it's like this one, big impact. Get nice big plants. We're going to fit one of each of these on the sides here, and then keep going from there. So same thing. I just squeeze the side, let it come out. For this, I'm not going to disrupt this roots, but I'm going to give it a good squeeze, and I'm going to squeeze it in here. So don't be afraid to do that with your plants. I'm going to keep this centered. And then I'll get the other one and do the other side. And I'm going to disappear here for a hot second. Oh, yeah. So really important, I don't know if you can see, maybe, but very, very, very important that you put make sure all your tops of the root balls are the same height. You don't want to have anything lower. If anything, you could almost have the center one a little higher than the others so the water doesn't rest there. Okay, so we've got our thrill in the middle, and now we're starting the fill, and now the rest of the plants are going to be smaller. So what I want to do is, probably shouldn't have done that with my dirty hands. What I want to do is fill up. We got to fill up these other bits a little bit, these other parts a little more, because the other plants are smaller and smaller pots. So you can fit maybe 1, 2, 3, 4 smaller plants. Let's see how many I got. Guess what I'm going to do is I got a mixture of pansies here. These are going to go in the other pot. So I'm going to mix up the colors. 1, 2. I want to keep some white. I always get a little bit of white. It makes the other colors pop. So whenever you're building an annual or any flowering arrangement, try to fit a little white, especially next to purples, because it's going to make the darker colors pop. As you can see, just this little bit right here makes it pop. So I got a couple white, and then we're going to pull a couple. We'll just do a couple of petunia little plugs just to get some color, and then the ivy is going to go last. All right, little more soil. So I'm just going to fill this up. Kind of just going to do to the top, but I'm not going to pinch it. And then I'll move the soil around and pinch it around the plants. I think that'll be the easiest way to do that. So do that. And then start plugging these guys in. So you want to keep the space towards the outside for your plants that spill over. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do one, the petunia, do pansy. So some of these, on the annuals, if the roots start getting really, really fibrous, really thick, you can scratch some of them off so it's not too root bound. That's why you usually want to try to find plants with just buds. That means they haven't been at the nursery too long, out there getting water and growing. So these are pretty good. ready to just go in there and make a real nice impact. All right, 1, 2. Gonna leave it like that, and then I'll get a couple pansies. So I've got white, so I'm gonna put a purple one next to this white pansy. So with these, try not to do what I just did. Try to pinch the bottom on these little 6-packs, let it squeeze out. Don't pull on the stem of the plant. Okay, and if it's got a little bit of roots like that, I'm just gonna take those off. Plug a purple here next to the white. And then this side, come around here. It's got this blue, so maybe this one. Mystery color. We'll do a mystery color. Full of buds, gonna be real pretty down the way. Where am I? Oh, I need to go over here. Plug that in there. Okay, and then I've got, let's see, how many packs? 1, 2. So we got 2 packs of ivy for each of the bigger planters with the color. So I got 2. And these ones you want to get towards the outside because the ivy we're going to want to hang over. So I'll put one there, one on this corner. You can kind of like get it started going over the side. And then I'll do the other side. So I'll put one in the middle. And maybe one over here in front of this white pansy. Okay, so once I've got that, now it's hard to see, but I've got a little bit of, move these out of the way, a little bit of some holes in between the plants, so I just need a little more soil. I'll use a smaller pot. And I'm going to fill in these crevices, pinch them in a little bit with my fingers, and then after that, this planter is ready. Just got to water it in good. And I'll show you at the end how to, the fertilizer trick with all of them. So I'm just going to pinch in some soil, make sure there's no gaps really. So if you get a lot of plants, the amount of gaps that you actually have in the planter is very minimal because you're kind of stuffing it. But that's what makes such a good, nice instant impact. Just check over here. Yeah, we're good. Hands are just a little muddy. So I'll show you this planter real quick. I'll kind of turn it to the side so you can see. Maybe we can get some pictures later. But the good thing about this planter is the ivy will persist for a long time. The Dracaena will persist for a long time. We picked plants out that are just budding, so we should get 3-4 months out of them, if not a little longer, rather than just a few. So good spring variety when you're going to your nursery. Just try to get plants that are full of buds, nice green leaves, not a lot of brown or spots or yellowing leaves, and that way you get nice healthy plants. Okay, I'm going to do another one. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. That was a bigger one, so it took a little longer. These other ones should be a little quicker, but I'm going to do one just the same as that one. As far as the plants, selection. So this is the Thrill plant. The fill though on this one, because it's smaller, we're gonna do these dahlias that haven't. Dahlia. Dahlia, no? No. From the 90s. That's a song. Daria. Anyways, we're gonna use these. And then we got some pansies. And we'll use a little bit more petunias. This pot's actually a little smaller, so maybe you'll actually be able to see my head now. Huh? Oh. depends on the age of the viewers.
If they like cake.
That's true.
Do you like cake?
I like cake. The music and the food. And spindrift.
You don't like cake.
Ice cream cake?
Yeah, not real cake.
Sometimes.
I missed the April Fool's on you.
Well, I showed. It's right here.
Well, you don't have to show it. It's there.
Oh. Okay. What else was I going to show? All right. Same thing with the planter. Whenever you're planting, make sure you allow some space. All right. So I'm going to do 2 finger lengths. Got to get it to here. So this one actually, we don't need to do as much. So just kind of like gauging, putting this on holding the biggest plant I have and then gauging where it needs to be. So it's really only that much that needs to be filled up. Not as much soil as the other one. So I'll get to filling.
Oh, hi, Jen.
Boy. Hi, Jen. Hi, Jen.
Hi, Jen.
I'm learning. Oh, hey, Jen. Yeah, I know our time is way off. I guess we need to have a plan for next week. I don't know what that's going to be.
Probably going to be me.
Crystal's going. I will not be here next Tuesday.
It'll be the milk bar next Tuesday.
Yep. Yes, it will.
Just kidding. Yeah, we'll keep it Zaddy bar. And I'll be the Zaddy.
You're going to be the Zaddy? That works. Sure. Be whatever you want to be. All right. I'm going to check this before I move on. Okay, solid. All right. So I've got my first plant. I'm going to depot this and then they keep cruising. Yeah, how's the weather? So we're doing, if you're just tuning in, we're doing Easter time annual planters, tips and tricks on how to make them last longer, and how to make them have some nice full looking ones, like the ones when you go to the mall and you're like, oh man, those look so nice. This is the basics. This is what they're going to follow with all of their arranged annual flowering pots. So usually they'll have like something that lasts in the middle, similar to this Dracaena, and then they change out the color in between. All right, so for this one, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Might be able to do. Let's say we're gonna do three dahlias. Yeah, we'll just do 3 around the sides of this. So I'm gonna check it out and be like, okay, how much room is this actually taking? Do I need to add soil? Kinda, not really. So just give it a little bit of soil on each side. I feel like, all right, yeah, that's what I thought. This thing wasn't centered. It is now. Make sure your center plant is pretty close to center. All right, so depotting these, pinch the bottom, pinch, just let it fall out. If it's got a lot of roots like that, feel free to kind of break up where there's a lot of roots at. And then I'll put this one back here and then work our way around. So that the thrill is in the middle. Now we're putting in the fill. These dahlias. This one's a mystery color. I'm just going to do like a triangle with these. So, oh, that one's a little low. I'm going to add some soil underneath it. Like, make sure you keep all these guys at the same height. Very important. Okay, and I'll finish the triangle with the other one. Yeah, depending on where you're at, might be a little early for annuals, or you just have to bring them in and out. You can make these cool little pots, and then when the weather goes crazy, you might have to bring them in if it gets too cold. But Easter's coming, so I guess not here. So we don't have, one of the cool things about being elsewhere where it's cold is you can do bulbs, and then the bulbs will come up and you could use those as your fill, and then add the other flowering plants later. But we don't. So here in Hawaii, the bulbs don't do as well. It's one of the downfalls. All right, so I've got the thrill. We got some fill. I'm going to add pansies into these. So I got three pockets, and then the rest is going to be the green ivy that's going to hang over the sides. So I guess this is what I'm doing here. Yeah. 1, 2, wait. I could have done a better job picking because I got 2 orange and 2 of these, and I want to have three colors left. So I guess it is what it is. All right, so I will check and see if that fits in there. Yeah, perfect. I'll use this one. Can't see what I'm doing, but I'm putting this back here. And then I'll do this other one. Oi. In the front here. How did I do? I'm going blind here. I can't see what I'm doing. Yeah, so Jen's got a bunch of bulbs. I wish we could. So the bulbs here, they'll sell them, but they're like they're opening up inside the boxes in the stores. Like they're not really ideal for here. So depending on where you're at, the plant choices change. So I guess the idea is always just try to get some plants that are going to last a little longer when you're making these. All right, last part for this one is going to be the ivy. So I think because this is a smaller pot, I'm going to have room for like 3 ivies. So I'm just going to I'll just pinch all these out. Easiest way to do it. Pinch these out, and then I think I'm gonna fill in some more soil so that I can get these guys to show up on the side. I'm gonna plant them sideways in this planter. So I'm just filling in the gaps. There's like gaps in between the plants. I'll fill these up first, and then I'm gonna pinch the ivy into there. Okay. Spin this around. Yeah, we do get some daylilies sometimes that last a little longer here. Okay, as far as like bulb type plants, but not the cool stuff. Not here. It's different. Oh, there's a big gap there. Okay. So I've got two really nice, really full planters that I created here. And I guess money-wise, I bought these white pots. I think the bigger one was $12 and the littler one was $10. And then the Dracaenas were $6. So I bought all this. Didn't grow it. You could grow a lot of this from seeds, but that's a whole nother episode. And then the other plants, the smaller plants, were only $1 a piece. And then the 6-inch plants. Okay, so I'm adding up in my head right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So in plants, got 6, 12, 18. So I guess it's $20, 20 to 20. This one's probably 25, and then this one's like $20 in plants. Okay, come around here. I already had the soil, so I didn't have to buy that. So if you got some soil sitting around, that's where you can get away with using that. I got another hole right here. I'm gonna fill it. So I just put my put your fingers in there and pinch around the pots or the plants that you pulled out, and that's it. Good. All right, then I'm gonna plug in. So I did it this way so that I can take these and like I can go, all right, I buried this. Don't bury all your Dracaena. I'm gonna put the ivy on its side. So I'm basically planting it sideways. I'm gonna let it grow in that way. I'm just doing the same thing, like a triangle, but that way it grows out from all 3 sides. And I got 1 extra ivy for fun. But I'm not gonna put it in this one. All right, that's number 2. Set the ivy away. So I'm gonna do another one. What we got here? Okay, maybe I'll do the petunia one, the hanging basket one, and then we'll come back to this other one. Okay, so that's number 2. I don't know where to put it. I'm like Ricky Bobby. I don't know what to do with my hands. It's like one of my favorite shows. All right, so move that over there, and I'll show you what to do. We're gonna move on to making a hanging basket. And so with the hanging basket, obviously you want plants that are going to trail over, but we also want to get some smaller plants with a good amount of soil, so that you can have the pot. Like if you do it this way, it's going to last all spring, probably mostly through the summer. You can probably get a good 4 to 6 months out of it, depending on how fast they grow. All right, checking the comments. This is where the having some other way to get your comments. I don't know how to do it. All right, so what? Yeah, I guess the other thing too is I'm running really low on contacts, and so I'm running without them today. So like for me to see the little words on there, it's like that's why I'm squinting, because I can't see.
You know you have glasses.
Yeah, I know. I just didn't want to wear them. Sometimes they give me a headache. But I'm saving them because I'm going to need them at least one day next week. I got to order more. All right, so we're gonna do the petunia. So this is a hanging basket. These usually like couple dollars a piece. Try to get this one. It's 12 inches big, I think. Yeah, we're gonna say it's a decent size, but bigger, just plastic. You could do something more fancy, but we're just putting, you know, flowers in it. And we want to do petunias, and I usually try to get the 6-pack of petunias. So that way it's like less than $1 a plant, and we can, you know, fill them up. We don't have to make it full like the other one. We're going to allow space for them to fill in, because each of these plants gets pretty big, and they'll fill in the space and be real nice and pretty. So they didn't have like single colors, so these are just going to be like mix colors. But the petunias look better if you do like a single color, or if you do like the purple with the white. But we'll run with what we got. So with this, I'm gonna fill the base up with some soil, and then pinch these out and just basically kind of plug them in after the soil's in there. And we want the soil to be just a little below this rim right here. So I'm gonna just fill that up. And we want, you know, preferably an organic, nutrient dense soil, so a lot of nutrients in it, so that it holds the water good. With the annuals like a lot of water, and also has nutrients for them. And you know, we want to feed them. So we're going to go over that next once I get this. These ones are pretty quick, so I'll probably do both of these, and then I'll go over the remainder of time. We'll be going over, okay, we got all these in. Now how do we make them banging? How do we make them last and look good for a good amount of time? And the first and biggest thing is going to be water. They require a good amount of water, especially as it heats up. You know, if you're getting in the 90s, the hundreds, these things are going to need water once a day, maybe more often. So let's see, one. So you just pinching out that. These ones are, you know, they got a decent amount of roots on them. So I'm gonna clean these up. 6-pack, nice and cheap, but this way you can make this last for some time. So what I'm gonna do is basically do one in the center. So I'm just gonna, you know, like if you're planting these, leave it a little above the other soil, because we basically want this to be right where this level is. We'll see if I gauge this right. And then we're just gonna go off the side here. Pinch. And then go over here. Basically you're gonna do like a triangle. And then I'm gonna come over here and do one here. Okay, so I got those filled. And then I'll get some more. So I've got a total of 18 of these left. Let's see. I do got another pot I gotta fill, so I'm trying to like make use of it, of all the plants that I got. But basically do triangle spacing. So we got like this, and then I'm gonna do another one here. I'm gonna have one here. And then another one right here. And then that's it. These things, I could have done less than this and it would have filled in, but I want to make it kind of fill in a little quicker. So I'm going to pinch around the outside, and you can see there's a little gap there. So I'm going to fill in that gap with some extra soil right here, right in here into this gap. And it's okay if you get dirt on the leaves. It'll all wash off when we water them. Some good dirt therapy for April Fool's Day. Getting the dirt under the fingernails. All right, so that's one, and I'll do the other one real quick. Okay, last thing. Plug this in so it goes like that. That. Did I do it right? Might have done it wrong. No, I did it. That's good enough. Okay, so I'm going to set this one aside. Maybe just up here. And I'll do the last one. So this hanging basket, these ones, so I think they were like $2.50 a piece, and then the 6-pack is $4. So we're in it like $10. So I guess you could probably get these for about the same price, but they're not going to last as long. Here, I guess maybe the prices would be a little less. Here, the price of a hanging basket, I think, is like $15 at most of the places, 15 to 20. And then the thing is that they're already so, because they try to get them boosted and full of flowers, that they just don't last very long. So doing it this way, do it yourself, and you can make them last. Okay, let me fill up this last one with soil. Again, we're going to right below this ridge on here. All right. Thanks for joining me, hanging out with me on this Tuesday night. You know, little nightcap with plants on our live. So we go live every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I think I got it wrong last week. And usually doing plant chores today, getting ready for Easter, and we've got a party trying to get some nice plants ready for. No? I'm looking at Crystal's back here. She's like a fly on the wall, just watching me laughing. So fill it up to there. Same thing, just going to repeat. Put one in the center, leave it a little higher than you have the soil. And then come on around, corner, and get the other ones. These ones, pinch the 6-pack from the bottom, let them fall out. Ooh, these ones got a lot of roots on them. All right, I'm gonna kind of get them loosened up the roots decently. All right, one. What I'm trying to do is leave them all a little taller, and just kind of working around, and that way we're going to add some more soil, and then when these things are not lower than the soil. And when you're looking, you know, I could have probably done a better job finding some of these that, see how they've got, so the yellowing here, this yellowing is from having a good amount of roots and not enough soil for them to hold the moisture near them, so they might have dried out at some point, you know, when they were transporting them to the nursery or maybe at the nursery. So try to find plants that don't have annual plants that don't have the yellowing leaves. Okay, what did I do here? I might have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Something is off here, and I don't know. I don't know what I did. There's a hair in my food. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, we're just gonna move this one over there and plug this one in here. Call it a day. Pincher on the sides, because I'm gonna use these for another one. Plenty of plants in here. You could have really gotten away with probably like 4, but I want to make it a little more full. All right, so pinch, get some soil around the gaps, fill it in. I'll put the hanging part on this, and then we'll get to the care part. All right, how do I care for these? We talked about the watering already. It's like, hey, you got annuals. You're gonna, as it gets warm, you're going to have to water more often. So that's one part of it. The other part is let's boost them with some fertilizer. Get them to be happy. So we're gonna boost them. And the way that I recommend doing that is with a two different types of fertilizer. So we're going to do an extended release. One of my favorites is an Osmocote. There's an Osmocote with miners, and there's an Osmocote extended release. I think it's like 15, 9, 12. So I like to use that. The one I have here is going to be one with miner, so it's going to have like the miner nutrients, iron, manganese, those sort of things included in it. So we're going to have an extended release, right? That's going to hold on, and it's going to be around these plants, help them always have whatever nutrients they need. And then the other thing that I'd recommend doing is, so every watering for 1 month straight is to do a diluted, balanced fertilizer. So this, you could use Miracle Grow. The problem with the Miracle Grow is it's definitely going to work, but it's going to build up salt in the soil, and it builds up and then affects the plants over time. But we're going to do a diluted rate, so it'll be a little less. So 1 month on, 50% ratio of whatever the mix is. It says, if it says, a tablespoon per gallon, then you're going to use a half a tablespoon. But every time you water, 1 time a week when you water, you're going to add that in, and then every week for a month, and then after that you're going to give a little break, maybe a couple weeks, and then go right back to it. But what I'm going to use is, so I'll mix it up, is we're going to use Growito for us. This is an organic, natural fertilizer, so no burn and no salt buildup. This is all natural ingredients. So natural fertilizer that's balanced would probably be a little better. And we're going to dilute it though, so not full strength. Going to do 50%. I guess if you're worried about it, you can do like 25%. So less than what the recommendation is for the label. So I'm gonna put the Osmocote first. So the Osmocote is a granular. It's like an extended release. Right. So I'm gonna put this in. Follow the directions on the label. The Osmocote won't burn, so you could technically overdo it with it, and it won't, like the plants won't take up more than they need. But I would follow, just follow the instructions. I got a calibrated thing here already set, so I know how much to put in there. You don't have to really worry about this getting on the leaves. I just didn't like the way it was looking. The Osmocote won't necessarily burn it. All right, so we got Osmocote on that one. Do Osmocote on this one. So if you're getting into plants or you've been into plants, this is definitely a must. It'll help, just like our leaf and tonic helps kind of balance some things out, makes things look a little better. The Osmocote just gives the plants stuff they need constantly. All right, so I'm gonna move this one over here, out of the way for now. Pull this one over, do the same thing. We call these nerds sometimes because they look like nerds, but don't eat them, or don't call them. Maybe if you've got kids, don't call them nerds around the kids. They might think, oh yeah, we can eat that. Mom said it was like candy. The Osmocote is not to be eaten. All right, so there's that one. And one more. So if you're going along and you're following this back, you're watching it after the fact, trying to remember, that way you're not having to remember everything I said. If you have any questions, feel free to just type them into the comments. If you're looking at like trying to figure out where to buy some of these products, we do sell them online, or we can direct you to another local store that would have them, or supplier that's near you. Happy to help. All right, a little more Osmocote right here. Just making sure I got it everywhere. So extended release, and then we're going to extended release fertilizer, and then the second part to these guys is we want to dilute the liquid fertilizer, and we want to do that more often. So so a lot of those usually, like I know if these are outside, generally you'd be like watering with a hose or whatever. So this would require, to doing it this way, you're gonna once a week is going to require you to use not a hose. You're gonna have to use a watering can or some other way to get the fertilizer in there. So on the Growito, the dilution rate is 1 cup per gallon. So this can also be foliar sprayed, but what we're going to do is, all right, so it says 1 cup. We're going to do like in between a quarter and a half for the gallon, and we'll start with that. Water thoroughly. You want to water till the water comes out the bottom, and then depending on the weather, you want to keep these guys watered. You don't want to let them dry out. So the weather here right now, we're in the low 80s during the day. So I'll probably be able to get away with watering, 3 or 4 times a week that I'll have to water these. But as soon as it gets like 85, 90, then it's going to be every day. So you can kind of use that as a guide depending on where you're at. And then yeah, that's everything. So I'll mix this up. I don't have a good place to water these. Like the water comes out the bottom and then it's all over my laptop that I'm trying to catch the comments on, and not a great thing. We'll have to work on that. Yeah, I just got to move the guy. We're out of time anyways, but I'll show you the mix. So I'm just going to use I stole one of Crystal's measuring cups. Yeah. I mean, I stole it a while ago. It's not new. But I don't know what I did with it. Oh, man. Hello. Okay, so this is usually 1 cup per gallon. So I brought the cup, and it's maybe right here. Oh, it's right here. All right, so, but I'm going to dilute this and go in between a half. And so usually if you want to be real accurate, just get the right cup that would get it. But I'm going to go just a half to between a quarter and a half of this cup. Woo, it smells good. So I'm going to do that. And then I'll fill this up with water, and then I'll water these after we're done here, since we're out of time and I'm not able to necessarily water these. So I still got another pot. I think I got one more pot to make, but we'll do that at another time. So we'll have to check back in on these. I'll remember to check in a couple weeks, and we can kind of give you an update. Hey, this is how full they got. You can see what they look like right now, right? Very small. There's lots of space in these ones. So we're going to check back and see how they're doing in a couple weeks. I will not be here for about a week to water these, so we'll see how that goes. Yeah, next
What am I, chopped liver?
you can do it. It's
Maybe
gonna
not. Actually, I'm a little afraid now. Wait, you just reminded me I have to take care of all of this.
yes.
Oh, that's the one flipping over.
Looks like we're pulling in help.
Yep.
So gonna finish up. Appreciate you guys watching. Today we went over how to plant annuals. These are Easter, spring annuals, and general guide. Just remember, we want to have thrill, get a good amount of fill, and then have some spill to fall over the sides, and you'll have banging nice flowering arrangements for a good amount of time. Especially remember the other trick, try to find plants that are just budding, not full of flowers, starting to bud, nice green leaves. That way they'll last a long time. And yeah, checking the comments real quick. Thank you guys for watching. If you haven't already, like the video, help us out. We're well on our way. We appreciate everybody that's been subscribing. We're on our way to getting to the 1,000 subscribers, working on trying to get there. So if you haven't already, subscribe to our channel. I'm David with the Plant Bar, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye. I guess I got to go turn it off. Yeah, can you? I'm trapped. I'm trapped. And I guess I'm going to do this other one real quick. Thank you guys for watching and commenting. It was a good time. Bye-bye.
I can figure out how to end it.
X.